As we're laying back, just let a couple of good deep breaths flow. Huge inhales. Nice long exhales. Feel how comfortable the body can be. Feel everything relaxing nicely. This is where I like to start classes from, because oftentimes our days get pretty hectic and we're in anything but that calm, receptive state of yoga. So I really like to start here with our breath to help this be kind of like a fresh start. Like from here, we're starting something new in our body. Our breath. It's a place where we can add possibilities onto our plate rather than being overwhelmed by all that we're already doing. And so I personally love to start off with a little intention for classes. So the intention for class today is about trying to find peace within. So sometimes things get crazy, hectic in our life. I happen to be doing random research about hurricanes versus tornadoes, and all these interesting facts come up regarding the differences. And it just, it got me thinking about how sometimes life is like that. Either it's that vicious, short, but extremely powerful tornado, or it's that hurricane that lasts for like a week and it doesn't go away and it just keeps on pounding at us. So life oftentimes is like that. It's either short and crazy or long and slower, but still crazy. And life, when it's like that, we can easily become overwhelmed. So instead of being in the middle of the storm, we imagine coming to kind of the eye of the storm, coming to that peaceful space. And the only place that is within us. So finding that calm, that presence, that's where our storm can be a little bit more restful. And so that's our intention today. So as we're going through class, anytime it feels overwhelming for a brief moment, or in the calm, peaceful stretches, either way, try to keep on returning within. Return to your breath, return to the sensations going on in your body. So with this to help lead us on, let's begin to stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Start to let the shoulders wiggle to the right. And shoulders wiggle to the left. This gives us a chance to start opening up the side ribs, opening up the body, the shoulders. So a couple of those kind of good morning stretches for us. Good. And as we bring our body right back through the middle, take your right knee into the chest, clasp hands around that right knee. Hug it in, do a couple of ankle rolls perhaps. Just kind of loosening up any of these areas that are tight on that right leg. Good, as that ankle feels good, start to extend right leg up to sky. Grab on wherever you can reach, hamstring stretch. And we'll take a little hip opener. So right heel hooks on the back left side of the fabric. If you're confused, I'll peek at somebody else in the class that knows. It's like a pigeon pose laying on your back. So right heel hooks to back left. Once you've hooked the foot, slide the shin in. That helps us to open up the hips. You're never hurting the knee, but you're allowing that hip to get a little bit of space to open up. Huge inhale, nice exhale. Let's free out that right ankle, drop right leg down next to left, and then we'll work on second side. So left knee into chest, Hug around it, give it a few ankle rolls. Leg starts to extend up to sky, hamstring stretch. Grab on wherever you can comfortably reach. Nice huge inhale, nice exhale. Hook that left heel to back right side. Once it's hooked, slide the shin in. Take another huge inhale. Nice exhale. Start to release this leg, drop it down next to the other. Take the feet free off the front. Grab on with hands to help the torso rise up to sit. Good. So we're going to take our first little back bend here. Note that we're going to try for one hand grabbing a foot at a time. That's going to be something you'll see a couple of different times through our classes. That hand trying to reach for the foot behind us, that helps us to stretch the quads. So as we're heading to this back bend, I personally like to bring the fabric just a little lower than where it tends to sit. So I push it down to be about where my pant line is, and then I lean partway back, hands grip back on. I usually grab on the closer side. Okay, so from here, keep the knees bent. And then heading to the back bend, just continue to slip the hands down. This brings us to a huge heart opener. Let's try just one hand to one foot at a time. So right hand tries to grab right foot. Pull it in to bring it just a little bit more into quad stretch if there's space for that. Good. Right hand can grab back onto fabric. And then left hand, try that side. Left hand grabs left foot. Pull it in for quad stretch. Good. If you want to stay with both hands on, just a couple more breaths, that's fine. If you'd like to try to have both hands grab both feet, give that a couple of breaths. That one's a huge back bend, like a bow pose, basically. Won't be there too long because I want to teach you another inversion really very early in class. Good. You'll notice by trying to slide the heels closer, it's more of a quad stretch. By trying to push the feet into the hands, it's more of a back bend, so you have a little bit of control there. If you're still upside down, give it one more breath for this one. Huge inhale. Nice exhale. Walk the hands back up onto fabric. Good. Rise all the way up. We give our head a little bit of a break, so hook the elbows, slide the shoulders forward. That's called our floating child pose. This is one of our first chances to help to get a low back stretch. Kind of counters that stretch that we got backwards. We're going to take a little twist and then we're going to build on going backwards even further. So with the twist, bunch up fabric to the front door side. Your shoulder that's facing the painted mountain wall, that shoulder opens up or circles around the backside of the head. Feel that twist. Feel how your arms can help to control how deep the twist is. Some days it's like, I just want to just barely touch on the muscle layer. Other days I want to use my strength to wind my spine quite a bit deeper. Notice where you're at today. Good inhale. Nice exhale. Let's release from this half and then bunch up fabric to the back door side of the room. Again, it'll be the shoulder that's closer to that mountain painted wall. That's the one that opens that arm, or that arm circles to be on the fabric behind the back of the head. Two more breaths. How much air can you float in while you're in a twist? That nice long exhale. And one more. Beautiful. As hands release, face back forward, the arms come behind the back of the fabric. Okay, so this will be similar to the back bend we just took. You're getting your thumbs to help push the fabric to about where the pant line is. You lean back and you grip back on for safety. This time to head to the full inversion. You take your legs wide up to the sky like a figure V, and then ankles wrap around the fabric. As soon as your ankles are wrapped, you're safe to release the hands. Just let the spine relax all the way down. Gravity starting to take over. So note, I like to just mention this for inversions. Don't feel like it's a competition with anybody else. So if you're getting sensations like ear fullness, or it just feels like there's a lot of blood pressure in your head, that's usually a good sign it's about time to come out. Some people get to that point sooner, some people later. So don't feel like you have to push it. The body gets more used to it as you go. If any point of where the fabric is hugging you feels uncomfortable, feel free to come out and readjust it to a slightly different spot. Sometimes that little tiny readjustment makes all the difference. One of the awesome things the fabric does do is give us massages. And so if it's an area where you haven't really had any sort of massage work done, sometimes it's tight at first, but know that it gets better over time. Just like using a roller. You got it. Yeah, good work. And just like that, you're a pro. So take the same recovery. Hug your elbows, lean your shoulders forward. Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, just readjust and then go back. I'll give you a little bit of time. Yeah, for me, usually a little lower tends to be comfortable. Good. Yeah, for those new, it's pretty fun to just play with different spots, just to find that, you know, what is the best spot for my body. Those that have been out for a little while, I'll offer you a little shoulder stretch while we give those upside down just a little bit more time to hang. So the shoulder stretch, we're going to clasp hands behind back. Bring hands over to right hip or right waist and drop right ear to right shoulder. Feel how that opens up that left neck, left shoulder area. Good. Head softly comes up. Hands bump over to left waist or left hip. And then left ear goes to left shoulder. Good. So head comes up. If you're still upside down, let's go ahead and start heading out. Don't worry, I'll teach you other inversions as we go through. Once you're up, we need to just be staying for a little while to give your head some time to flip. So we're gonna just add a simple little stretch. You'll bring your arms to the inside of the fabric. Take your right knee in so you can clasp hands around that right ball of foot or maybe right ankle for some of us. And then as you lean back just a hair, let the right leg have another chance to stretch up to sky. So the goal is straight-ish leg. So if that means you need to bump down to the calf instead of the foot, that's okay. Or straight-ish leg, I guess. I said foot, but. And then the second goal is to try to lift that leg as high as you can. Okay, let's give this side one more huge breath in. A nice exhale. Beautiful. You're ready to drop that right foot down, let it release. We'll start to switch to left. So left knee comes in. We're grabbing your own ankle or foot. When you're ready to lean back just enough to counterbalance the weight of the leg, let the leg extend. Another huge inhale. Nice exhale. And the leg starts to release down. Bring the arms to the outside. They're just a teeny bit of strengthening. So it's like we're touching upon some of those sensations of the storm around us. So we can feel that contrast of the peace within. So this is going to be boat pose. So we're balancing with the arms with not touching the fabric unless you need to make it a little easier. Float the knees up. From boat pose, let's take some bicycles. So we're circling right leg out, circling left. Here's 10 and 9. Keep breathing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop the knees down. Punch the fabric up entirely to help lift the hips all the way up and out. We're standing on our own. Leave the fabric as it is, kind of over the shoulder. And we're going to wrap up the arms. So the arms circle above the head and then around. And then circle around one more time so you've got it wrapped around the wrist before you grab on. Here, what we're going to aim to do for those strong enough is hold in a flexed arm hang. For those where that might be a little bit too much to ask for today, you're going to try to do hops. So just hop up the best that you can and try to just build up that little tiny taste of the arm strength. Okay, so remember to breathe the whole time. So we take an inhale, prep. Exhale, try to come up the best that you can. Good. If it turns into hops, that's okay. If you're holding with flexed arm hang, try to hold a little bit longer, the best you can. Maybe another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. If you'd like to start lowering, that's fine. If you want to hold a couple more, that's great. You guys are doing awesome. Good. Amazing. Okay. We're going to keep our elbows hooked onto fabric as we start to lower down to knees. Okay, so if it kind of got around shoulders, slip it down to the elbows. So working it down there. For some of us, just kind of leaning forward with the hips in a bent shape might be enough to open up that shoulder pec area. For others of us, we want to send the hips a little further forward like a plank to get into that shoulder stretch. So you choose the intensity based on what it takes to feel a shoulder stretch. It is kind of tight on the skin too, so we won't stay here too long. But just whatever intensity feels good. Maybe the head is rolling around just a little bit left. and right. Good, another huge inhale. Nice exhale. And let's start to rise up kind of halfway so that you can start to free the arms out. We'll end up in a kneeling shape. From this place where we're at, currently hips are under this plumb line. We need to bump ourselves just a little bit further forward so that we can lift up our right foot and bring that right foot directly into fabric. Good. So right foot's hooked onto the fabric. From here, left arm goes forward. As we extend that left arm forward, extend the right leg back straight, and then try to take that right knee and left elbow as much into the chest as possible. Exhale. Take another 4 to extend, and exhale, come in, center. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Now drop left hand down, keep the right knee bent for just a moment. You're gonna try to take right hand to that right half of the fabric. Good. So once you have the hand onto the fabric, you have the option to perhaps extend the leg a little bit straighter to get a little bit more of a back bend. Beautiful. Bend the right knee back down. Now I want us to switch one more time to left hand. So right hand down, left hand grabs that left half. If this is tight enough already, this is fine, just to kind of hold the fabric. If there's any space to try to extend the leg a bit straighter, this one's gonna be harder because it's more of a twisted version. So I'm gonna extend it to the amount that feels good for back still. Good, nice inhale. Exhale, knee back to bent. Both hands on the floor in front of us. We're going to eventually switch the foot that's in. We're gonna try to switch through a plank, and you're gonna try to hold the plank for a little while, kind of like that flex arm hang. Maybe it'll be a slow count of down from 10, or maybe it's just a quick little switch and then your right knee's gonna be on the floor. So whatever you can do today is fine. You're pushing your right foot into the fabric, lift the left foot in, hold the plank however long you feel comfortable. Maybe a count of 10, 9, remember to bow up rather than down, 8, 7, 6, you can always drop down if needed, 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, 1, good work. Go ahead and lower right knee to floor. And now we're extending right arm forward, left leg extends back. This is 5, bend elbow and knee to the center. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Switch the arms, right hand down. Keep the knee bent, the one that's in the fabric, for just a moment, trying to get the left hand up. If just holding this is where we're at, that's great. Maybe there's left leg extension back. Gets us a little bit more into that back bend shape. Feel yourself even allow the chest to come into the back bend. Opening that heart forward. One more inhale. And exhale, bend the knee. Left hand down. Right hand tries to grab right side. And if this is where we're at, great. This can be a lot for the quad. Maybe there's some extension of the leg back to straight. Breathing. Keep the chest and the heart opening. One more inhale. Exhale. Softly bend the knee, release hand down, and release the toes down. We're going to take a moment with child pose. So the knees can be narrow or wide. Let the arms walk forward. Forehead resting on ground. This is one of those moments that reminds us we can have peace inside no matter what that storm looks like around us. So give that low back a moment. Easy breathing. Good. We're gonna head up to standing, plant the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips like a downward facing dog. Those legs a chance to just be stretched out. You can then cuddle the legs. One knee bends, the other heel gets closer to ground, and then switch. Good. And then either walk feet to hands or hands to feet. Come into a nice, easy forward fold for a moment. And I'll let the neck kind of shake out nice and loose. And we'll rise up. You can either go slow if the head needs a little bit more time, or just do a huge circle, arms up to sky. And hands end up at the heart. Good. So, stepping right in front of fabric, let's set up that backpack again. So get the arms through, and we've got the fabric in front of shoulders. Okay. The fabric behind us, we want it to be about at the spot right under shoulder blades. So get it physically in that spot, and then take all the slack out by walking backwards. So you're leaning into it. We want our feet to be back to that spot under plumb line. So it's about halfway up the mat. Sometimes I'll go a little wider just for a little bit more stability. Okay, so from here, with an inhale, you'll stretch the arms all the way back behind you. With the exhale, as the arms come down, the knees softly bend, and then we extend to a forward plank. Good. Inhale, softly bend to reach back. Exhale to go forward. Now back. And forward. Take another 3. And 2. And 1. Beautiful. Ending up back. Take the hands behind the head. Bend the right knee. And you'll lean your torso a little bit to the right side. Straightening right leg. Switch it out. Bend left knee. And the left elbow to the left. Good. Straighten back out. Okay, so note to self, after we do the next inversion that we're about to do, this is our recovery pose. So you just take yourself right back to this spot. Some of us it'll be sooner, some of us later. It's all good. So walk yourself backwards to stand on your own. And then we need to come back up to that spot under plumb line. So halfway up the mat. This is super, super similar to what we did at the very beginning. So you get your thumbs to slide to that spot right behind you. This time it's like an inch or so lower than it was before. So rather than pant line, it's like top of sacrum area. Never sitting bones, that's a little too far, but just slightly higher than that. So the point of palms is to keep this right here. Don't let it slip up. So 1 foot steps back. Bend the knees to lean back, taking all the slack out. Keep your core really tight as you tiptoe 3 steps forward. You're under plumb line. And then all at once, hands up, knees wide, wrap your ankles. Just like before, as soon as the ankles are wrapped, you're safe to let go and just let that spine hang. And similar to before also, if it didn't end up in the right spot on your hips, you can adjust. In and out, there's nothing wrong with that. Or if you're satisfied before others, you can always just rest back a little longer. Sometimes if it's the tenderness that's the limiting factor, you can kind of use this time coming out to just kind of massage that area. Use your thumbs and help it out. Before others, one of the shoulder stretches you could take is let one arm be straight in front of you and then give it a moment to be hugged in. Stay there for a good couple of breaths, maybe 5 or 6 breaths, and then eventually switching. Let the neck be loose too. I'll usually, like if I'm stretching the right shoulder, I'll lean my head to the left. We're at about that point where we've got about half the class in, half out. So those that are still enjoying the inversion, take your last couple of breaths, maybe another 4 or 5 breaths. And then eventually you'll head back out to that recovery pose that we practiced earlier, the stargazer. What we're doing here is giving our body a little bit of recovery time. We don't just want to immediately move on because it's like you can feel in your head, you're like, if I were to just stand up right now, I would be dizzy, it would not be good. So you're giving yourself some time to lay back. And what you're doing is kind of running a systems check. Sooner or later, your systems will all give you a good check mark. You're ready to move out. So I'm not rushing you out, but the way to communicate with me that you're doing all right today is going to be stepping back up under the plumb line. So not rushing you to get you there, but eventually working to that spot. Beautiful. If you're here before others, just roll your neck once or twice, complete half circle. Okay, so we're opening our arms to left and right to help with, so that when we lean forward, we'll trap our arms inside. So come to a nice half forward fold. You're going to allow yourself to sway just a little bit to left and right. Okay. You'll notice if you kind of do a quick little shrug, you're going to allow the fabric to wrap more around the shoulders than around the biceps where they were. So from that little shrug, you've got the shoulders wrapped. Stand on your left foot and let your right knee start to come into the chest. Bring the knee to the nose, nice and curled in. When we extend the arms back out like airplane, extend that right leg back behind us, warrior three. Good. Take it. Find your balance. You're gonna do that 2 more times. So right knee in, give it a hug, knee to nose. Warrior three. Beautiful. Once more, hug it in. And kick it back. Beautiful. Land the right toes a little bit behind where the left foot is. Bending both knees as we make this transition, shift the fabric back down under shoulder blades, lean back. So it's kind of like this weird, like almost kneeling position. So what we're trying to do for a moment is try to take the right hand to grab that right foot behind your back. And then as you straighten yourself back, you can take yourself into a little bit of a back bend with a quad stretch. So pull that foot in as close as it will get to the glute. Good. Release, both feet are in equal spot. Grab on, pull yourself back up to stand on your plumb line. Okay, so arm wrap, shrug to shoulder wrap. Left knee into chest, give it a hug, knee to nose. Open arms, warrior three. Good, knee to nose, give it the hug. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Beautiful. Land those left toes slightly behind you. Both knees are bent. You're shifting fabric under shoulder blades. From that bend shape, you're trying to grab left hand to left foot. Once you've got the grip, feel free to straighten right leg, arch back. Quad stretch and heart open. Good, one more inhale. And exhale. Gentle release. Both feet are equal. Slide the hands high. That gentle arm strength to bring us right back up. Good. Flip the fabric out in front of you. Grab on a little bit wider than shoulders. Upper body goes forward. Feel an even greater release through hips and low back. Even maybe a slight sway, kind of wagging your tail. Try not to make it too wide, or watch out for your neighbors, I guess. You are going wider. Good, feel that nice release. Soften the knees, roll the head back up. From standing, we're taking right ankle inside the fabric. So when you gaze up, you should be just an inch or two behind plumb line, not too far back or too far forward. So you've got two options. You can either slide the hands down, taking heart closer to thigh. That's an easier variation. Or hands slide up to take more of a splits variation. So whatever's going to help that right hamstring for a moment. Breathe some space into that side. Trying to find the calm. Maybe this is your storm. Maybe all the other storms I threw at you were super easy for you. And this is your storm, who knows? But try to find the peace within. Find connection to breath. Try to be with the sensations going on in the body. Inhale. Exhale. Good. If your weight went forward at all, take your weight back over standing leg. Slip fabric down to knee. Grip on tight so that you can softly lower left knee to the floor. Good. So camel pose, half camel, truly. Right hand grabs really high on the left strand. Left hand goes to left heel. If it's too far, tuck the toes. If that's still too far, just plant the hand on the low back. Try to keep the hips sinking forward. Good. And rising up, we're taking the twisted version. So left hand grabs high on right strand. Right hand to that heel behind. Inhale, nice exhale. Both hands come up. This next one may not be possible for some people, so if that's the case, you're going to try to just be where you're at, sinking hips forward, take a little bit of a back bend just to enjoy yourself. This is going to be trying to aim for hamstring stretch. So you straighten out this right leg and start working the fabric down to that right ankle. The balance is a lot more iffy, so keep the grip high if you're at that ankle. Sometimes just being right here is enough of a stretch. That's tremendous. If you can sink weight a little further forward, that's an option. Good. We won't be here too long just for that knee that's on the ground. No worries. So take a little break. One more huge inhale. Exhale. Come back up through the center. If you didn't make it quite to the ankle for this one, the next one you should be able to because it's opening the legs a little bit more to the side. So you've got this left long edge of the mat. You're dropping hands to that left long edge, turning your body to that left long edge. And if the fabric's not an ankle, slip it to the ankle. This will be that fun part to get it there. So foot should be kind of to mirror side. If it's trying to swing back too far, just readjust where your knee is on your mat, and that'll help to leave it facing forward. So if you want more, drop to elbows. If you still want more, continue to inch your elbows closer to mirror side. We're gonna give this spot just a couple more breaths. Huge inhale, exhale, and we'll take our foot out. If you feel stuck, face the back of your mat and then just slip your foot out. Good. Perhaps take a nice down dog to come back up to standing, walking feet to hands or hands to feet, and then rising up. Good. So you can feel that right side super, super open. Let's work on left side a little bit. So left ankle in. We're standing behind. Make sure you're only an inch or two behind plumb line, not too far. This is the option where you can either dive down or splits forward, your choice. Calm, slow breath flowing. That's what helps us remain present. inhale. Exhale. Weight back over through the center. Slip the fabric down to the thigh. We're gripping on, lifting right knee, and softly lowering right knee to ground. If you know you like to tuck the toes for the camel, you can take that tuck already. First version is left hand really high on right strand. Right hand, the heel. Try to keep the hips pushing forward rather than sinking back. Good. Right hand works its way high on left strand. Left hand to heel. Good. Both hands on their respective sides. Okay, this is either the heart opener, just arching back, hips try to sink forward, or try to slip the fabric down to that left ankle. Yeah, if you're not quite centered, you'll notice right away, so just readjust for the knee is underneath you and that'll help you out. Good. The higher grip will help catch you if you start to fall. If the grip's too low, you'll have to use the floor to help you instead, if your balance goes. More breaths, nice and slow. Good. And then back upright. If you're not at the ankle, this is when you're going to try to slide it down as you plant your hands off to the right side of your mat. Again, if the leg's coming behind you or too far forward, readjust where your knee is on the ground so it stays facing mirror. If this is happy, this is about the intensity you can handle, great. If you want to drop to elbows, that's awesome. If you need even more, inch your elbows closer to mirror. Last huge breath in, out. Good. We'll start to get the foot out. If you feel stuck, face more to the back of the mat and then slip it out. Let's take a brief child pose, just kind of helping us ground down, finding beautiful peace. Arms can be stretching forward or tucked backward, whatever your preference is here. As we rise up, we're preparing to head to our final Shavasana for the last couple of minutes of class. So sometimes people want a grounded Shavasana by this point. They just want to lay on their mat. Some people want to come back to that floating Shavasana that we started off with. So you get to choose. If you're laying on your mat, that's great. If you have final stretches you need to take for your body, go right ahead. If you're coming into the fabric for floating Shavasana, you'll come back up, do all the steps that we did. You're standing in front of it so you can wave it out. Eventually, you'll face to mirror, hook your thumbs. Taking about half the fabric, about 5 grips more or less into your hands. And then heading back under plumb line, get it under your glutes. Slide it down to thighs as you come in. And then head all the way back to that comfortable laying position. Beautiful, beautiful efforts. So feel just how calm and peaceful it is at this point. All those deep stretches we took at the end helps to remind our body that we're safe. We're in a good, comfortable space. Body can open. Best part is, all it really takes to maintain this peace is maintain this connection with breath. So if nothing else for the next couple of minutes, just let your breath flow deep and full, long and comfortable. Deepen our inhales. Deepen our exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes. back to the body. So sometimes these movements are just like we did at the beginning, extending the arms to the back wall, letting the shoulders go right and left. Other times there's a really nice fetal position that you can do from the laying hammock shape. So that fetal position is keeping the body long, but rolling onto one hip. So one hip stacks on top of the other hip. If you're taking that, you can let your body curl in like a tight little ball and then arch all the way back. So it's like an exaggerated cat-cow, just waking up the whole spine. If you're doing that fetal position, I usually do 3 or 4 to one side. And we'll take 3 or 4 to the other side. Helping the body to wake up. And the body feels pretty good sooner or later. Everything is back to presence. Let's make our way up to a comfortable seated place. From seated, we'll take hands to heart, just reminding ourselves that we can carry that peace within us whenever we choose. With this to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of oh. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.